Start in 1930s Birmingham, Alabama. A young girl named Wilsonia Benita Driver faces devastating loss almost immediately. Her mother passes away during childbirth, and by the time Wilsonia is 6, the grandmother who raised her is also gone. That compounding grief locked itself into her vocal cords. She developed a severe, agonizing stutter, making everyday speech a physical struggle. To protect herself, she retreated into a childhood of near-total silence. But she wasn't tuning the world out. She was listening. She turned to books, obsessively studying the structure and precision of language on the page. This trauma-induced silence acted as an incubator. Without the pressure of speaking aloud, she learned to hear the internal mechanics of words, absorbing their power with the focus of a master observer. In 1943, she left the segregated South and moved to Harlem. Her environment shifted entirely, swapping quiet isolation for the frantic energy of a northern urban metropolis. She moved in with her father, a working jazz musician. Their household hummed with the constant, syncopated rhythms of the era's great instrumentalists. Those records offered a new curriculum. The improvisational timing, the unexpected rests, and the meter of jazz taught her to hear the internal music of language. She began applying that musical structure to her own writing. By pacing her words to a rhythmic, off-kilter meter, she bypassed her stutter. The beat carried her over the syllables she used to trip on. By merging the strict grammar she studied in silence with the pulse of Harlem jazz, she forged an entirely new, unstoppable sonic identity. Fast forward to the late 1960s. Sanchez takes her deep understanding of language into academia, landing at San Francisco State University as an educator ready to disrupt the system. She pioneered a new academic discipline, fighting to design and mandate the first formal Black studies and Black literature courses in American higher education. The institutional pushback was intense. The FBI placed her under surveillance and paid a visit to her landlord in the Haight-Ashbury district, attempting to force her eviction over the content of her lectures. The Bureau recognized the threat in her syllabus. They saw a strategic weaponization of Black culture and history designed to dismantle institutionalized racial norms. Her teachings provided the intellectual foundation for the resistance happening out on the streets. As people marched for civil rights, her classroom analyzed the exact hierarchies they were protesting. The federal government saw what traditional academia missed. A curriculum that elevated marginalized voices was a direct challenge to the existing racial hierarchy. Sanchez took her message out of the classroom and onto the page, publishing seminal poetry collections like Homecoming and We a Bad Deed People. She tore down traditional poetic forms. She engineered her lines using phonetic spelling, urban slang, and the natural cadences of Black English. On stage, she treated her voice as an instrument. Her live readings incorporated chanting, tongue clicks, and vocal slurs, bending words the same way her father's bandmates would bend a note on the saxophone. She emerged as a fearless, roaring matriarch at the absolute center of the Black arts movement, leading a generation of writers who refused to compromise their identity. Her published poems functioned as hand grenades of truth, compact, explosive works that defined the aesthetic of a cultural revolution. By the 1990s, the raw energy of the Black arts movement found a new vessel. It evolved into the massive global phenomenon of hip-hop and spoken word. Sanchez's rhythmic, unapologetic truth-telling was intravenously transfused into a younger generation of rappers and poets documenting their own realities. She shared the stage with these modern artists, delivering electric performances on HBO's Def Poetry Jam alongside artists like Mos Def. Modern artists revered Sanchez as the foundational architect of their craft, the woman who had spent decades building the stage they now stood on. Today, spoken word and hip-hop are the direct sonic descendants of Sanchez's jazz-infused poetry. Sanchez eventually settled in Philadelphia, serving as the city's first poet laureate while remaining a fixture at global peace rallies. This academic analysis highlights the deep reverence for her work, specifically her seminal poem, This Is Not a Small Voice. The journal explains how the poem serves as a metaphor for the entire African American experience, equating their collective voice to a mighty, unstoppable river. It is a stunning triumph of personal will. A life that began in a crucible of silence ultimately produced one of the loudest, most enduring legacies in American literature. The little girl from Birmingham who couldn't speak refused to stay quiet. In finding her own rhythm, she gave an entire generation its revolutionary voice.